Welcome to tonight's video. As you can see by the title, tonight we are messing with the headlights on this Jeep. This video has actually been a long time in the making for me. I started making it probably over a month ago. There's been a couple things that I've done since we got the Jeep running. The first thing was every time I hopped in this Jeep, I felt like I needed to take a shower. It was just so disgusting. So just touching over to a couple highlights from cleaning the Jeep. I don't think you need a whole video of me basically saying this is disgusting. This carpet is so gross. I'm not gonna try vacuuming it. I'm just gonna pull all of it out for now. Eventually I'm gonna pressure wash it. I got an idea of something to do to it to make it awesome. But for now, it just has to go. All right, somehow it got worse. It got so much worse. There's just a bunch of just dead weevils, whatever those are. This thing was infested. I just wanna walk away. I thought it was just the smell of grease and old cigarettes. But no, it's the dog food and the bugs that were eating the dog food. We're this close to a match being the only thing that'll clean this Jeep. I just light it on fire, this close. That's probably the most disgusting vehicle I've ever cleaned up. I kept vacuuming a spot and I'd see under a piece of trim, like, holy crap, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And so I'd pull off the next thing and the next thing. And the center console's out, all the panels are off, but I think we can at least see everything I think at least we got all the garbage out. So I think the next step that I'm gonna take is gonna wash it. Like, I can't just vacuum it, there's just too much stuff that had gooed, had melted, had oozed its way into everything. Okay, welcome back. So with the Jeep all cleaned up, and mind you, I wanted at the end of that video to kind of do a run through and like show everybody how clean I got it. But it's gonna be a long time before I feel like the Jeep's even to that point where I am not even a little bit grossed out by it. So time will be the healer of how bad the Jeep was. But with that, so we hopped into the video that I've been working on trying to make. And it was a wild ride. So when I was warming up the Jeep to come out and do the video, it was really cold on that first attempt at this video. I came out and there was steam under the hood, and I thought, I'll be fine. I can just drive out, do the headlight swap out in the field, and then, you know, do the checks. The issue is that the Jeep automatically turns off the headlights, so I couldn't really completely do the video because the headlights kept turning off. So I tried fixing it on the spot. I had a part for a 3.8, but not this 3.8, to seal up the, basically seal up the housing. So that turned into a disaster. And then when I went to fire the Jeep back up after adding the gasket in, or the seal in, the Jeep went into limp mode. All right, so we're just trying to get home. The Jeep doesn't have any acceleration. Yeah, we must be in limp mode. There's nothing I can do with any form of acceleration other than just kind of idle along. I was looking at being stranded out here, and so I tried driving it back. I was able to clear the code. Now the nice thing is I have my J-scan tool plugged in and hooked up, so I should be able to get an idea of what's going on. This all sucks really bad. Because yeah, I was having a hard time even getting up this hill to pull up onto the road. So let's see if we can do a quick, see what happened. because this had been running perfectly. So I'm pulling codes right now. And it was making a weird buzzing after I stopped. Okay, so it looks like throttle position might be something happened there, which I was poking those wires, so that very well could have been problematic. Yeah, I really wish I could finish this test, but with the Jeep running this way and this late at night in the dead of winter, it doesn't seem like a good idea to stay out here any longer, so I'll have to come back and finish the test. And then I had to go through and get all the parts so I could fix the cooling system. So the hood's up. Clearly, there's some problems. So hopefully today we're gonna fix it and then get back to doing the headlight comparison. I ended up with a busted thermostat housing in addition to my thermostat being stuck, which I think was the root of all these problems. I decided while I was at it, I was gonna also replace the cooling fan unit. These are prone to go out, and I'd rather have a new one and not have it go out at a less than ideal time. But this project ended up not being too bad. Everything was pretty straightforward, and as I pulled back all the different parts, it was easy to access just about everything. So it ended up being pretty easy. It's been a ride. So let's go ahead and hop into what I filmed originally, and we'll get to where it got messy, and we'll hop over to today. Today we are doing headlights. This currently has the factory headlights on it, probably even the factory bulbs. We're gonna put on new headlights and see how much better it is after. To get an idea of what the Jeep is with the factory headlights, this is it right here. This is on low beam. So if I kick up the high beam, that's the difference. Low beam, high beam. So I'm hoping that swapping out these headlights will make an improvement. I don't know, because these are some of the cheapest ones on Amazon. Literally paid less than $100 for them, and I'm hoping they work. But that's kind of the idea here, is there's a lot of lights online for $200, $500, $1,000, $1,200, right, if you go crazy. And I'm really not sure. The question is, like, are you actually getting any value out of it? Looking down the straight road, this is an idea of what my headlights look like from the top. This is low beam. This is high beam. So there's some improvement in high beam, but that low beam is especially painful. So the goal tonight is to improve on that. Let's go ahead and take care of this. The nice thing is this should, obviously it's winter and plastic breaks really easy, but I should be able to do this pretty much just one tool. Okay, and then there's some across this back side of this grill. From what I understand, these are pretty easy to break. So our goal is to not break them. Must be one more. There's one more hiding. Okay. This step down. Next step. Let's get these guys out. So I didn't come prepared with a Torx. Looking at these rings, I've never actually taken the headlights off of these JKs before, but I got lucky and I have an Allen key that fits.
with that, and the headlights. Look at that upright, how cold it is. Here's the new headlights. Nothing too flashy. Just something that I thought would do the job. So let's see if we can get these in and get the next one in. Alright, one thing to expect with most aftermarket headlights are these adapters, because these for the most part are going to be universal. So you have this connection. So don't be surprised if you have to have an adapter. It's not a big deal. It's just some people don't like it. Alright. That looks like it's locked in. I'm going to go ahead and get this pigtail in. Alright, one headlight down. It has a little notch right here that lines up right here. I'm just noticing that. This one's a little bit looser fitting over on this side. So it's making me work for it a little bit more. I wonder if I got the other side fitted correctly, because this one's going in very nicely. So while I'm here, I got some bulbs for the markers right here. So we're going to throw those in, just make a little bit of an improvement. Alright, so here's the bulbs. Now what I have learned with these bulbs, with LEDs at least, is they go in a specific way, so we don't want to get too far ahead before we test them out. Success and success. Alright. Okay, let's get this popped back in. This one's screwed back in. Then just line everything back up. And just get these 6 back in.
All right, so hopping over to lighting, and forgive my my light tonight, it's my cell phone. But with me, I have 2 lights that kind of demonstrate lumens versus the idea of LUTs, and another term that is less common but more important, the spotlights. I think it said candela. Anyway, so I have some Nebo flashlights. I love these things. My wife says I'm not allowed to buy any more. But we have a variety. So we have the spotlight that puts out about 500 lumens. And then we have this flashlight that's supposed to be putting out around 10,000 lumens. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate those and see what the differences are. So starting with 500 lumens, pretty common for like headlamps. Let's go ahead and see what we get. So that's about 500 lumens right there. And so lumens are the measurement of how much light. So in this case of a floodlight, it's scattered everywhere. So you're sharing 500 lumens across this whole space. Next up, let's go ahead and this flashlight is putting out about 10,000 lumens. So this is a pretty substantial amount of light. Now, continuing with the idea of lux is about focusing those lumens down and controlling them. So the idea here should be that we're putting out the same amount of lumens, but now we have them focused into the direction we want them. So that's where, when someone's talking about lux, that's more what they're talking about. Now, there's this term for spotlights. Let's go ahead and do candelas, or however you say that word. You can see that I can shine just about anywhere with this, and I'm trying not to blind the trucks all the way down on the highway. So I don't know if there's a good way to demonstrate this. It's getting out past where the camera's focusing. But just ridiculously far. This reach is way far on this one. So, candela versus lumens. So you can see how lumens are useful depending on what you're trying to do. Candela can also be useful. It's way too bright. Ouch. All right, so with that same idea of lumens and from about the same angle, this is what the Jeep looks like. Low beams, and this is what it looks like with high beams. So in my opinion, this is a massive improvement over the factory halogen lights. It might be a little bit to do with the color shift, which, yeah, that helps a little bit, or at least gives me a sense of seeing more. But it seems like these lighting patterns seem to be controlled a little bit better, and I love it. I feel like I can actually see it when I'm going down the road. So let's take this on a test drive down the road. So let's go ahead and throw it on the high beam. I feel like I can see everything I need to see with this. So let's go ahead and hop on the highway and let's see how the lighting feels on there. Brightness is pretty important. Here's our low beams going down the highway, and here's the high beams. I think these are substantially better than they were before. I'm happy with that improvement, and for the price, I'm really happy. I've bought more expensive, aftermarket headlights and been much less happy. So really the takeaway is you can get some pretty simple headlights out there that are going to make you happy, and you don't have to spend the $1,400 that some of these manufacturers want for their headlights. If you're about that, go for it. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm just saying you can be happy at a lower price point. So with that, thank you for watching. I know tonight's video was a little bit all over. I've been trying to get a video out on the cheap Jeep for a minute and have had some challenges. So thank you for taking the time to watch. We have another video coming up. This Jeep is going to get its first badge of honor. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.